The hands elevated push-up not only unloads some of your body weight because of this angle, but it also hits your lower pecs more. It's great for higher reps, also great mind-muscle connection, warm-up activation sets, whether you're going full range of motion reps or you're doing more of a pulsing, pumping in the bottom half stretch position. Keep in mind, if you can't do some of these other push-ups we're about to show, you can always back off to this, or you can modify those in a hands elevated environment, because again, it unloads you so you can do the exercise safely, effectively. The feet elevated push-up hits more of your upper pecs or the clavicular portion of your pectorals. It is much more challenging because there's increased load coming through your upper body at this angle. And again, it can be made easier, harder in many ways, an inch at a time, by playing by how much you elevate your feet. Adding the parallel bars, as you can see, allows a full range of motion further than the floor, which makes it extra challenging. But you really want to control that eccentric portion, pause, own the bottom position before pressing back up. The close grip push-up is both going to increase the range of motion of the exercise as your body has to travel farther. It also makes your front shoulders and triceps have to work harder on the exercise, but it's very challenging. Keep in mind, we can do this also on a high box or bench to make it easier. So if you can't do it close grip on the floor, that's fine. On all these variations, consider that incline option as needed. And again, I'm playing around here with, pulsing at the bottom, at the top, doing full range reps, so you can have some fun with that too. Wide grip push-ups hit the pectorals more due to the enhanced stretch. You also don't travel as far with this particular grip. It does additionally challenge your shoulder stability more, so only go as wide as is pain-free and comfortable, but this really challenges you. It's almost kind of like mixing between a press and a fly, if you will, so kind of think of it in that manner. Really emphasize a good slow eccentric to protect those shoulder joints and really hold that stretch and own it. Pulsing in that stretch is even better for those pecs. The close to wide grip is a great variation I love to work in, mixing between the tricep emphasis to the pec emphasis, all while hammering the front shoulders. You can do this with hands on floor or add the parallel bars, which again is going to add the ability to extend the range of motion. And the more time you spend in that stretch, the greater the overall strength and muscle gain effect. Or also, by changing the grip too, there's an increased core stability and abdominal challenge. So be sure to really go slow on the movement. The underhand grip option will challenge your mobility the most as you wind your shoulders into complete external rotation. There's also greater contribution to the biceps, believe it or not. So it's a kind of a bicep push-up to work into the mix. I love the pulsing actions at the bottom on this, and keep in mind, this can be very challenging to do for most that have stiff wrists or just tight wrists on the floor, but I do find it very accessible with these parallel bars positioned in this manner, or even a bar if you have the ability to set up a bar that can allow you to do these push-ups too. I'm a huge fan of the ab wheel, not just for ab core training, but also shoulder training. This is a total upper body exercise. We first do the push-up on the knees, getting the anterior delts, triceps, and pecs. Then we do the overhead rollout, getting maximum shoulder mobility and lat and posterior shoulder development. Combining the two is a great little flow, lots of good time under tension. I can pulse in the push-up right at the bottom there. I can also pulse at the end range of the rollout. No better exercise than this. The ab wheel can also be used to do regular push-ups on the toes with the legs straight and create an incredible stability challenge. Not only you're fighting tilting or turning or going side to side here, but you're also fighting the wheel wanting to roll forward on you. So an incredible way to build shoulder stability. It also slows your rep speed down for more mind-muscle connection, time under tension, making lightweight feel heavy. If it's too hard on the toes, you could just plank it out, or you could do it on the knees again without the rollout. The bottoms-up push-up climber is another great shoulder stability exercise with an added core stability component, hitting those hip flexors hard with those knee ends. Now you take a push-up handle and you put it upside down or a parallel. You hold the middle of it and you push it down hard into the ground to maintain stability. You've got to go really slow in the eccentric phase, own the stretch portion. If you can't do the push-up component, just do the climbers. And you can also make it easier by going with a high parallel bar in the same fashion. It's an easier body angle. The uneven push-up is essentially a self-assisted single-arm push-up, prepping your body to bridge the gap between 2 and 1 arms. As the floor arm has to do more of the work, you also get a really big stretch in the bar hand, and you can modify this with a bigger dumbbell that allows you to get a little more range of motion, or even a medicine ball can be used too. But the bar works excellent. I actually love putting fat grips on the bars when doing push-ups for less elbow stress, more overall activation. It feels really good on pressing. You can make that even harder with the archer push-up, which has the other arm going completely straight. So one arm is kind of in the classic bent press position. The other arm is essentially in a chest fly position, unable to assist as much. So about 80 to 90% of the load goes to the bent arm. I like to alternate on these to allow each arm to stay fresh, and you can really just focus on a good slow eccentric. Do the best you can to pause and own that stretch position, getting your chest as close to the bar as possible. If you can't do this, regress to the previous variation. Think of the dip as a harder version of the push-up because all of your body weight is now involved in the exercise. Beyond that, it does hit your shoulders, pecs from a different angle, really challenges the triceps to a whole new level. I love to do a lot of pulsing reps in the stretch position, and keep in mind, if you can't do this unassisted, just put one or both feet on the floor and use as much leg assistance as you need to execute the reps, whether it's for the full set or just after the point you can't do any more reps. The pike push-up is a modified handstand push-up with less of a balance and stability component, but it's just as hard from a strength standpoint. The muscles will really feel this, especially if you elevate your feet in a high box and you extend the range of motion with parallel bars. Look how I pulse in that bottom half position too to really get those shoulders going. This is the king of bodyweight shoulder exercise with almost all of your weight in that vertical pressing pattern. If it's too hard with the feet on the box, you can go feet on floor and or hands on floor to decrease range of motion. The kneeling overhead triceps extension is not only the king of triceps builders, but it's also a great shoulder mobility exercise. And the stronger you get here, the better your overall pressing and pushing power. It really helps build the lockout of that push pattern. This will really also help with your shoulder mobility. Look at me in the end range, kind of moving between sides, fixing and balancing between sides, doing some pulsing reps in the stretch position. The better you get at this, you'll bulletproof your elbows and shoulders and get overall strength on your press push-ups. Another great triceps-focused option is the ab wheel skull crusher to rollout. Now, you're not doing this with your arms overhead. It's more around the forehead level in the kind of classic skull crusher bodybuilding style, but it's a little more unstable because of the unevenness of the wheel. So I don't know which one is harder, to be honest. They're both very challenging. Make sure to really control the eccentric portion, but it's just a great way to get the delts, the triceps, and the lats going. This will build your entire upper body with a really good core focus, so enjoy this one. The ab wheel push-up Iso-rollout will test your upper body strength, stability, and stamina to the max. You start by lowering the chest as close to the wheel as you can while being able to hold it isometrically, then dynamically perform the rollout from that position. You could also think of it kind of as a push and pull that's happening from an isometric standpoint. So chest, lats, delts, abs, triceps. Such a challenge. If it's too tough, move to a previous variation, but do the best you can to try this out.